Welcome to the Facts That Matter. I'm Erin Wilson. Today I want to share 5 facts with you about the future of our workforce. I want to welcome Cindy Mitchell, industry expert on education.
Hi Erin, thanks. Pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Let's get to the facts. It's a fact that the world's population is aging. And today's topic is about the brain drain that is happening in the workforce. And more importantly, how it affects our industry in the future. Every day in the news, people are talking about the Great Resignation, which is a combination due to COVID and an aging population. Today in 2022, 10,000 people are retiring every single day. We have an aging population in our security industry. There are more retiring than entering our industry. For the 2021 calendar year, Dorn Hardware Institute individual membership numbered 3,790. Of that, 19% are lifetime members. So, questions today: how do we mitigate the loss of knowledge and expertise for our industry?
I think this is a really, really big issue, and quite frankly, it's a challenge. And one of the biggest ways that it is a challenge is the speed of which this is happening, right? You said in your intro facts, 10,000 people retiring every single day. It's very hard to upskill 10,000 people every single day, particularly in our industry. We're an industry that people spend, quite frankly, lifetimes getting to understand the complexity of the industry and how to do certain things, how to become experts in certain things. So yes, it's a challenge. Part of the reason that I do the work that I do today is because it is such a big challenge. And the other thing that's happening in our industry is you have the brain drain, as you said, folks retiring from the industry, and you have a gap. So there's folks retiring, and there's also this big gap of people in the middle before you get to millennials. And the millennial, that age group, in 3 years, that age group will represent 75% of the workforce. So there's a big population of folks that have some experience, but not near the depth. So what I work on every day is to try and fill that gap so that we get more and more people upskilled, reskilled, and ready to take over some of those, quite frankly, those jobs that the folks that are retiring have done for 20, 30, 40 years. In our industry, people do tend to stay a little bit longer, but the experts that you have in the industry, for the most part, are a lot of these baby boomers that have grown up in the industry or spent 30, 40, even 50 years now in the industry. It's like a train coming at us, and it's real.
Wow. With 75% of millennials being in the workforce in 3 years, how do we get them interested in our industry?
Yeah, it's interesting. That's a big group, obviously. What's important to think about with millennials is they have different characteristics than the workforce we have historically had. When you look at millennials, they have a short attention span. They multitask very well. And they're drawn to things that move really fast and really interest them. On the surface, I would say a lot of people may think that the security industry isn't all that sexy. But I think the other thing that's really important to millennials that we have to leverage and we have to know, kind of get in their heads and know where they're coming from, millennials really, really care about purpose. You have a lot of the millennial generation that, wants us all to recycle and cares about the environment. And those are all purpose-driven things. So for us in this industry, we're fortunate enough, although albeit on the surface it may not seem that sexy, we're fortunate enough that when you kind of peel back the onion and you talk about our industry, the bottom line is you are as an industry, I say you, we are all keeping people safe and make sure they have a sense of freedom so that they can move freely throughout the world. So anytime you control access, you're not only controlling access, you are giving people privileges to move where they want to go in and out of the world. So I think when we try and attract them to our industry, we need to have a bigger sense of purpose in all of our discussions. Because if you talk about a doorknob, as you can see that you have here in the room, I know even when I was younger, a doorknob didn't get me all that excited, right? But if we had a conversation about how do we save lives and how do we keep people safe and in their environment, that changes your perspective a little bit, and it makes people drive towards a purpose where they can help.
Okay. So millennials want a purpose. They want things quick. They want to feel that they're involved. Mm-hmm. So how do we need to change education and training to keep their attention, to get them feel like we have a purpose, that this is a real purpose that they can put their energy towards for the security industry?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's something else that I think about a lot, because they do have different characteristics. They do have different behaviors. The baby boomer generation was quite happy to sit in an all-day class and learn things. In the work that I do every day, we teach both knowledge. So what are the features and benefits of a product? What do you need to know to order a product? Who are the customers or the applications for the product? And we teach skills. So for the skills, it's how do I install this hand reader on that door? Or how do I manage a software system where I put in all of the folks that have access to certain rooms and learn how to use the software. So there are different components to what our team trains people on, but I don't think the learner of tomorrow, and soon to be, and is right now actually, even a portion of the learners of today can have the time or can sit in a class as their standard rule. So what we need to do is make training that's engaging and that's fun and that interests them, and that is delivered in a way that gives them bite-sized pieces, things that they can learn a little bit, walk away, go do something else. Learn a little bit, walk away, go make a sales call. So the way you structure your training becomes very, very different, because you don't have the attention of somebody for a really, really long period of time now. The world's changed. That's great for the millennials, who in a few years are going to be 75% of the students that my team trains, because they love technology. They're very tech savvy. They are good multitaskers. They have a short attention span. So we have to take all of those characteristics and considerations into how we develop our training programs.
So with all that being said, for all that matters, what matters the most?
Interesting question. Okay. I really believe in training and education. There's a couple things, and then I'll get to the bottom line of what matters. But I think we have to change the way we do things, but probably in the context of the aging population, probably what matters the most is speed. We have to do things and direct things very quickly, because this change is happening now, and in a few years it's going to be over. So we have to take this millennial and Gen Z generation and get them up to speed with what, frankly, is 40 to 50 years of knowledge that some of our experts today have, and condense all of that knowledge into a short, hyper quick amount of time and make sure that what we teach them can stick. So for it to stick, it's got to be very engaging for them.
Wow, looks like you have your work cut out for you. Thank you for joining us, Cindy. Any final thoughts?
Thanks, Erin. It was a pleasure to be here today. I think this is one of the biggest challenges in our industry and in the world today.
Thanks again, Cindy. I'm Erin Wilson, and thanks for joining us on another discussion about the facts that matter.